on Herms again. Alright, so I wanted to continue with this Haskell recipe manager. Got a few different things I want to do. One is that I actually just want to change it over to use the SQLite based persistence instead of the flat file. I don't care about it personally, but I think I'd like to make a little migration command as well, where you can just point it at a recipes file, and then it'll import the data and add it to the SQLite database. I was also thinking about how the interface lets you interact with the recipes in terms of their name or their index. I think I could be wrong about this, but since it doesn't let you actually manipulate the indices, I think just letting the primary key in the database be the index, that should be fine. So the first recipe you insert in the SQLite database will have a primary key of 1, and that can just be index 1 for the purposes of the interface. The other thing is that I need to make certain I try to match the original text interface. Alright, so let's start with migration. And let me go to that directory and see what the recipes. I think it was just recipes. Yeah, it's just called recipes. I think for the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna start adding functions to the persist module. we'll get a list of recipe keys back after we've done that. Alright, and then what we're gonna do is import this module qualified. Really? I thought that was a type synonym. What did I miss this time? System.io. Come on. File. Name. Alright. I've lost my mind. Whatever. Oh, it can't be C system because it's getting called by the thing. These are all IO actions, right? Okay, we'll just make it an IO action and then I'll make an actual thing. Alright. I'm gonna need to think about this. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is it would be better if I just reuse the code that they already wrote for getting the recipes. So probably what I want to do here is get recipe book from Herms. Alright, I'm gonna move that down. I think. So that I'm not circularly importing from Herms. Because Herms already, the top level Herms module already imports persist. If I import get recipe book into persist, I get an import cycle and then I have to use hsboot. And I don't want to do that. hsboot files suck. They're terrible. It's just really bad. Just don't do that. Alright, so let me... Who's using get recipe? Alright. I see. So that's why they're doing that. Alright. Well, I'm just going to move it down here. And then we're going to import... We already have herms.types, so we can... Doesn't allow file name. So this was depending on a just a constant. It's not actually global. We don't have globals in Haskell. It's just constant. So global means like it would be visible across all modules simultaneously, kind of. We don't have that in Haskell. Everything's in a namespace. You'd have to write like, I don't know, some old programming language to encounter that. Okay, so we're not going to do that anymore. Instead, we're going to take a file name argument. And it's just going to use that instead. And then get recipe book. Just needs default recipe file. It's a little more clear. recipe book. Alright, let's give this a reload. Let's do maybe non-scope. Move it down on types. This can... nah, it's fine. Variable non-scope, file name, file path. Yeah, his code depends on this a lot. You want to avoid doing this. It's, for beginner code, it's whatever. It's better if it's just a function argument. And if you get tired of passing around the file argument, then the next step from there is usually a reader monad or something. This dispatch method doesn't, just takes a list of string. Alright then. I guess mine will too. Let me see here. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Anything else is an error. And I'm just going to print the recipe book, and since I don't have a proof that I can produce this, I'm just going to return undefined and let it blow up. Whoops, gotta use types. There we go. Qualified module. Alright, what is it whining about now? Oh, it has to return IO unit. Derp. Alright. There we go. And then main migrate recipes. And it worked. So note that you can call your main function from GCI by using :main, and then you just pass it the arguments you would pass it the command line. It's a lot faster than busy spinning, building a binary, and hitting up arrow in the REPL over and over, or sorry, in the command line over and over, separated REPL. Alright, so loaded that fine. So all I need to do now, I think, is combine to database recipe. Okay, so one thing I need to do is I need to make a helper. Right now I've got an insert. Oh no, it's, sorry, it's right there. Derp. Okay, never mind. The helper's right there. Alright, so what I should be able to do here. Okay. If I combine insert recipe, that, run db, traverse, insert recipe, recipe book. And I think, do I just want to traverse underscore? I think I might. Alright. It's actually migrated recipe book. Alright. Oops. I made it bad. What did I do wrong? I have SQL persistent. Run DB wants the pool argument. That's why. Yeah, fair enough. So I should probably just use with SQLite pool. This isn't really like the nicest thing, but it's whatever. Package, persistent, SQLite, and with SQLite pool. Dun, 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 dun. Whoops. With SQLite pool, and then yeah, need to stop using this. All right. It's fine for now, but it's better to use the with functions because they'll bracket for you and make certain you don't mess up. The SQLite pool, default SQLite name. I just need one connection, and then we're a function taking a pool argument, and we just pass pool to run DB. New instance for control logger, monad logger IO. That is true. That is true. Run no logging T. How about that? Nope, did it in the wrong place. Alright. It wants it in the monetic action that your function returns, and that's what it inhabits as well. Okay. Well, it's not going to go under the lambda then. What if I put it under that? Nope. Good lord. Run logging T, run SQL pool. Haven't I done this before? I have. Checking chat real quick. Oh, somebody asked about the bracket stuff. So, if we take a look at with SQL pool. Oh, it's, well, okay. So, I have to go find with SQL pool. But basically, if you don't use bracket, then if you allocate, you may actually have seen this in the first stream. I don't know for sure if I ran into it, but let's say you make your SQLite pool, your connection pool, right? The problem is like that pool, it doesn't get destroyed or collected properly if either A, you forget to do so, or B, an exception gets thrown before your database action finishes. So if I have, let's say, speaking hypothetically, let's say I use this to create a pool. Okay, and then I could choose to do this. Yeah, and that worked fine. So the problem is that if I do something that causes an exception here, it's actually going to cause the pool to not get collected properly. It's not going to get shut down, the connection shut down. That matters a little bit more for SQLite than it does for Postgres or MySQL. So for Postgres and MySQL, for persistent application, sorry, when I say persistent, I mean like a web server that never shuts down. The problem is you could actually end up accumulating connections against the database, which is going to make the database slower. In this particular context, it doesn't matter as much because this is a command line application that just kind of spins up and spins down. So it doesn't matter as much. It'll get collected by the process cleanup stuff that's just going to kill everything off. So in that case, we can just rely on that, and that's fine. So I'm actually just going to keep it simple and leave it like that. But I do think it is worth keeping in mind that it's not really proper. So the proper way to do it, but naively, sorry, so not proper, but like the naive way to solve this problem would be to just go to data pool, look for, hold on, it's resource pool. The destroy, hold on. Yeah, destroy all resources. So then you destroy all resources. But the problem is, again, if you throw an exception, if an exception gets thrown somewhere in here, it could even be an async exception, so it's not even coming from your thread. Somebody could just choose to kill off your thread. You're not going to run that code. Anything after that's not going to happen, right? So the way you solve that is with a function called bracket. It's from control.exception. And basically what it does is bracket takes an IO action to perform before doing stuff. The IO action, it's actually going to run the thing you're doing during, so to speak. So this would be your before, the default SQLite pool will be your before, and then this would be your during, and you'll notice it takes whatever A was in the initial IO action as an argument. And then it also passes that A to your shutdown function. So let me make certain I get the argument order right here. There we go. So I'm gonna toss this in chat. Your little bracket. So, alright, yeah, so the second argument's the run last. So the idea is you're doing like an acquire resource, release resource, and then your A to IOC is the thing that runs in between. And what it's doing is it's basically masking out exceptions and making certain that this gets a chance to run before it rethrows the exception. And you can see it right there. Masks, restore, before, restore thing, on exception after A, and then return. And then when it gets out of the mask, the exception can get thrown, basically. Alright. So we're going to just let it be bad, I guess. It'll make things a little more annoying in the REPL because... so let's say in the context of a command line application, it doesn't really matter that we're not using bracket or destroying the pool properly. But your stuff is actually a little more persistent in a REPL, so you can have like annoying errors where you can't connect to the SQLite database because you've got some pool hanging around somewhere. And the easiest way to fix that generally is just Control-D, kill the REPL, and reopen it. Because as soon as the GUCI process shuts down, everything's getting thrown away. Alright, so we're going to do... actually, hold on. Let me delete the SQLite database here. And then try running this, this migration procedure. Migrate recipes... Sorry, main migrate recipes. Alright. So the problem here is that the database didn't already exist, so we needed to migrate the SQLite database before we tried that. And the easiest way to do that is... Yeah, I actually, somebody mentioned having to kill Intero all the time. There's a lot of reasons I've had to kill Intero above and beyond even what the normal repo requires. Um, to be perfectly honest, I avoid like editor integrated stuff like that because it tends to be kind of fragile. Oh, I see. Well, I'm just gonna do this. Alright, it claims to be done. So, I just had to tell it to automatically migrate the SQLite database. Whoops. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at this guy. And now I get to remember how all this works again. Select star from recipe. Looks pretty good. Alright, cool beans. So that's done now. And I was able to just compose my little helper functions to create the functionality I wanted, which is nice. Alright. So now I kind of want to make the inverse of insert recipe, which is get recipe book DB, which incidentally is going to basically enable everything else to work. And in fact, yeah, let me take a look here. Yeah, it's just a list of recipes. Mine will be a little bit different, but it's fine. Okay. So the slightly potentially annoying part here is that I have to pull together the normalized representations of the data and accumulate them into a denormalized, more hierarchical representation. Let me see here. So I'm basically I just want to grab everything. Oops. Load source from persist. Select list. Alright, so first we're going to select list. Empty. Empty. And this is going to be our recipes. And then for okay, so tags and ingredients both have a recipe ID field. So what we can do here, you can see how this little operator creates a thing. Not really need to do that. Alright, so for each recipe, there's actually a for. Alright, maybe there's not. It's just traverse, but yeah, it's just traverse. Alright. So I could do 4M recipes and recipe do ingredients tags ingredient recipe ID equals entity key recipe tag recipe ID equals entity key recipe, and I'm going to throw an undefined on there and see if that works so far. I do have to import it. Import control.monad form. It's literally just a flip traverse. If you look at the type of traverse, 4M, and then if you flip for, whoops, yeah, if you flip 4M, it's just the same damn thing. Well, okay, so 4M is a slightly stronger constraint. It doesn't need to. It does the same thing, but, you know, whatever. All right. Right. All right, that worked now. So now we need something that converts from a database recipe to a hierarchical recipe. So I think we'll call this from database recipe, and it's going to take recipe ingredients tags as an argument, and those are going to be types dot ingredient types dot tag. Oh, it doesn't even use a type here, does it? Let me see here. I think I'm actually doing it in reverse order. Yeah, tags are just strings. Oh, and I forgot directions, didn't I? I think I did. Alright. Alright, so it's not types. We're getting the things. Directions. Info. Direction. Yeah, I forgot directions. Alright. Whoops. Direction. Recipe ID. It just occurred to me that... Oh, no. There's not really more than one. Or is there? There is. Alright, so... I have a potential problem here. The primary key of these things is going to decide what order they occur in. It's fine for now. Gonna need to check on that though. Alright, from database recipe to types.recipe and direction, I should say. Alright. Directions types.recipe. It's a name. I think we can just do that one that way. With the recipe. Whoops. Oops, it's all right. And that's just gonna be recipe name. Recipe. This is just description equals recipe name. Sorry, recipe description. And then ingredients is gonna be from database ingredient. So we're gonna go from ingredient to types.ingredient. These are just glorified isomorphisms. Alright, from database ingredient equals types done ingredient quantity ingredient quantity unit equals ingredient unit name equals ingredient name and attribute equals ingredient attribute fmap from database ingredients directions tags from database tags fmap from database direction directions from database tag's gonna be pretty dumb. It's just from database tag equals string, and it's just gonna get the value, the tag name, and then from database direction, it's kind of the same deal, isn't it? Yeah, it's just direction to string, direction instructions, reload. Alright, I did something wrong. Oh, because I forgot the thingy. Fair enough. Is it ingredient name? Yes. Oh, I remember this. I remember this silliness. Alright. Bada bing. They're all entities. How do I feel about that? Do I want to take the entities? Do I care about that? I don't think I care about it. this. I'm gonna factor this out so I can play with the types in here a little more easily. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm getting a list of types that recipe back. Alright. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and make this do the thing that we actually want. Oops. Whoops. That seems to work. Alrighty then. So we've got get recipe book DB now. I don't know why I included the key. Is this for the index? Probably. Alright. So we need to implement list remove view and add. What's it doing here? For each target. Read recipe ref target. Okay. Let's see, read recipe ref. It's just looking it up. Okie-doke. Safe lookup. What? Utils, huh? What? Either an index or a recipe's name. And looks up the corresponding recipe. Alright, fine. So first let's just do readme. Where's readme? It's in safe. Do we have safe? No. Alright, set that into fine and see where we're at. Need to reload because it's safe. Alright. Oh, it all loaded. Alright. So here we're just trying to parse the key as an int64, which is what SQL key is under the hood. If you take a look at the type of okay, I need to load this module. Look at the type of toSQL key. Excuse me, sorry. You'll see the function argument is int64. Hold on. I'm gonna order coffee real quick. And whenever they get here, I will stop streaming. Done. Alright. So, the function argument is in 64, so that's how readme knows what type you're trying to parse here. Alright, so if that doesn't match, we're just going to assume it's a recipe name. So, there's a couple different ways to do this. I think probably the easier one is to just make a function that transforms the list of key of recipe types of recipe into one that is the left hand side's just the recipe name. So normally I wouldn't use lists and tuples like this, but I'm not expecting this to handle any real amount of data, and I just don't think it matters. BAB, B, TAB. I actually just want fmap, I think. Where recipe top name. String types recipe. Yeah, I should have just written this. And then I'll just fmap it. Recipe, it's just name for recipe, I think. Info type stuff recipe. No, it is types of recipe name. And then R, because we gave it that alias right there. And then we can fmap recipe top name. Recipe book. Lookup. And key of that. Alright, what did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't. Didn't lift the result over. Excuse me, sorry. Oh, but it's not going to be in. That's annoying. That's what I get for juggling these types like that. Think about this. Yep, okay. The problem with tuples can't be solved by nesting more tuples. 3616. Expected type, actual type. Oh. Wait, no. What am I missing here? Oh. Can't use the qualified name under the wildcard. Alright, what am I doing wrong here? I don't need to do that, do I? I don't. Derp. Lookup already returns the value, not the value in the key. Alrighty then. So then we're going to forum targets target do and put string line case lookup recipe book target of nothing. Target does not exist. Just resp show resp. And that appears to be it. And then for giggles, we'll throw a destroy all resources in there. And we need to import 4m underscore now. What on earth? Oh, I have to lift IO the put string line. IO class. Dunzo. Any reason to prefer forum underscore over 4 underscore? Well, first I have to find 4 underscore. There is no reason. 4 underscore is the one with the non-monadic constraint I alluded to earlier. So you just use 4 underscore. Actually, if I check in... Let me think about this. Yeah, data traversable has 4, so I can take import data traversable for 4m reload, done, it's fine. Yeah, you don't need the monadic constraint for what that's doing, so you might as well just go ahead and weaken it. Alright. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's go ahead and replace this bad boy. Reload. Don't, or I should load the thingy. Alright, main view 1. Main view 2. Main view black bean and butternut squash tacos. Seems to work fine. How's that for cool? So one pretty good improvement for this would be making a better pretty printer for the record. Another thing is, in fact, let me just pretty print types.recipe a unit. Because that's not ideal. I wonder what kind of plain text recipe representations. Plain text recipe. Because we could just treat it like a template. Yeah, it looks like, I think this format's pretty standard. So let me save this for inspiration. Alright, but that was indented in. Whoops. Alright. So for pretty printing, I think what I'm gonna want to do is use Shakespeare, because it has a templater that does what I want. Shakespeare, reload that. What in God's earth did Spotify pick? Stop that. Fucking put on a video game soundtrack and start playing like this hardcore jazz remix of some Final Fantasy song. Like, nah, I really just want to hear the game music. Alright, so there's this guy, this little helper here, has a quasi-quoter I want. Alright, import text.shakespeare text, we want st out of that. And types.recipe st. Actually, I don't really want this to be an IO action, do I? This just returns text, so I think I can do that. Alright, so the recipe name can go here. Ingredients, and then for all ingredients, directions. Enumerating them is going to be annoying. I think I can zip with an enumeration. Yeah. For all and direction. And then I'm just going to dump tags there for the moment. Direction, directions, n dot direction. non-scope ingredient. We have a non-scope N. Oh, wow. Info type recipe. Whoops. Source. Persist. Info type recipe. Yeah, ingredients. For all ingredients. Alright, hold on. Sewed. Whoops. Shakespearean templates. For all. Yeah, you can see right there. Looping over lists. For all. Alright, I'm not crazy. Maybe I just shouldn't use the, is the record wildcard? Is that what's confounding me here? Well, let's find out. Recipe name, description, ingredients, directions, and tags. Reload. Recipe should have two. Whoops. Oh no, it's Earth. Give an offset direction. We'll just do... I use this library all the time. Never had this. Ingredient to string. An instance for to text string. Test recipe, 3D print, test recipe. Okay. let tagline equals Spruce space interpolate come on. Import list inter Spruce. Come on. Yeah, I'll just IO unit this. Whoops. TIO. Ingredients. Alright, let's find out what the hell's going on here. Oh, I have to do it in Hamlet, and then I need to convert from Hamlet to text. Alright. Markup to text. Just want to translate this to text. Blaze, okay. Blaze markup to text. I've actually done this before and I remember it being annoying. Markup. 2. No. Markup M. That's pretty much something here. Render. Okie-doke. That's gross, but whatever. Okay, render markup from text.render place pretty, render markup, and then I need to do a text.pack because this is a string. Text.pack data, not text. Let's actually just make all this text. Text, text. Everyone's text now. Your text now. Alright. Reload. Yeah, sure. Blaze markup. Fire it up. Ah. Alright. Arms persist, pretty print, test recipe. Well, oh boy. The problem is that I don't get the control flow unless I use Hamlet, but it's not going to respect the literal strings unless, wow. Alright. Alright. Just do it the old-fashioned way. God. Alright. Alright. First we have recipe name. Just concat it. And then we want tags. Interpolate space tags. Ingredients. And now we need to start doing ingredients. So this is going to be fmap render ingredients. No, it's going to be a magnetic bind. And I'm going to kill that for the moment. Render ingredient. I've not had to write manual string templating stuff like this in years. I'm a little mad that I had to do this. So dumb. watching, and I don't know when I'll stream again, but I'm sure it won't be too long. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.